guys, welcome to my channel Among Stouts. If you are new here, my name is Samantha. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom of 4 kiddos, and in today's video I am sharing with you a Q&A. So I asked for questions here on YouTube, which is where I'm going to start pulling my questions from, and I also asked over on Instagram in my stories. So thank you guys so much for going on there and putting questions in both places. I always get really nervous doing that because I don't want to end up with no questions. So thank you so much for not making me feel embarrassed, even though I would have been embarrassed only like to myself because no one else would have really known. But anyways, thank you guys for asking questions. I love giving you guys a chance to ask me things and answering them and giving you a chance to get to know me a little bit better or pick my brain a little bit and see what my perspective is or how I think about things, how we do things as a family. So I'm really excited. Let's go ahead and get into these questions. And like I said, I'm going to start off with the questions for YouTube, and I think that I will have time to get through all of these questions. If the video starts to be too long, I will probably split it into two. So let's just go ahead and get started. Hopefully I'm not too long-winded, and let's get right into these questions. So the first question, this is a two-part question. So how do you keep your marriage fun and alive while dealing with everyday life? And what is your dream vacation if money wasn't an issue? So I'll answer the first part first. How do you keep your marriage fun and alive while dealing with everyday life? This can get kind of hard, especially I feel like now that my husband has been working from home, it can really get easy to fall into a slump of like everyday life and just kind of letting things just go and not really taking the time to spend time with each other or make time for one another or keep your marriage fun and alive. So I will say my number one thing is you have to make time for each other, wherever you can get that time. So date nights used to be something that we were really big into, but over the last like 6 months or so, we have been doing well, we haven't been doing them lately, but over the summer we were doing morning dates. So every Friday morning we would wake up early and go and get coffee, just him and I. And that was really fun. We'd go have coffee and get like a little pastry for breakfast or something like that. We take time to go on date nights, which don't happen as often as they used to, but we do try to get at least 1 or 2 in per month. And then, and that's like getting out of the house without the kids. But we also have fun staying in together and having little date nights here at home, whether that's like because the kids go to bed early, so we stay up and have like go outside for a fire pit and have some wine and cheese, or we will order really fancy food for pickup, bring it home, and my husband and I will eat that together at the dinner table, just him and I, and we would have already fed the kids and they're doing whatever they're doing. We stay up late sometimes watching movies together. So just making sure that you get the time for you to be together as a husband and wife, as friends, as a couple. That is really important. That's probably my number one tip to keeping your marriage alive and fun, is just like making sure you are remembering your guys' selves as like friends also, as well as parents, but going back to whenever you first met and what made you guys happy, what are some of the things that you guys did back then that made you both laugh and that you both enjoyed, and just going out and doing those things sometimes, just you two together, is a good way to also add fun. And then second, what is your dream vacation if money wasn't an issue? I'm super easy. There's like literally one place that I've dreamed about vacationing since I was in high school, and I still have yet to go, and so this will probably be my dream vacation forever until I finally make it, and that's Italy. I would love to go on a vacation to Italy, whether that's just me and my husband or we go as a whole family, whatever it is. If money isn't an option, we would definitely be taking our entire family, but I'm super easy. I like to vacation, like I like to do staycations. I like to just go when we lived in Colorado, I like to just go out to the mountains. And here in Texas, I love going to just another like touristy town that's around me, or, you know, another city. So I don't mind super simple, basic traveling within like the state that I'm living in, or just within the US in general. I don't have like a huge travel bug. I'm not someone who loves to travel and needs to travel all the time, or even like has that huge yearning for traveling. That's just not me. So if I could go on a dream vacation, it would be Italy. And like I feel like I would be good just going once and be one and done. So that's where I would go. So next, what is your favorite thing about moving? Nothing. I have moved so many times. So if you don't know, my husband and I were prior military, so we used to, we were both in the Air Force. That's how we met. But then when I got out, he was still in the Air Force. So we've had a few military PCS moves, and then we have moved from Colorado to here in Texas, and then now we're moving from our current house to another house. Like seriously, no matter how easy the move is, like a local move, because we've done a lot of that too as renters when we were younger, moving from place to place year after year because of renting, and then you know, all of the big moves. I just hate moving. I really, really hate it. So I'm really excited that this is the last time that we're ever going to move. I will say, like, one of the nice things about moving, and probably the only thing that I enjoy, but it's kind of a pain going through it, is just all of the decluttering that happens whenever you move. So I like to not have a lot of stuff, a lot of junk hanging around my house anyways. I wouldn't say that I'm a minimal person by any means, but compared to like a lot of family and friends and other people, I do tend to be more on the minimal side. We don't have a whole lot of stuff. And so whenever we do start to collect a lot of things, a move is always really nice because you declutter all of that, and then you can go and donate things that you don't need anymore, and that is always nice. That's probably the only nice thing about moving, is decluttering and getting rid of things that you don't need. So next is, what are your plans for the new house and land? We have so many plans. Like seriously, every night my husband and I are talking about things that we can do, things that we want to do, what our plans and our visions are. And so it's really nice that this is going to be our forever home, and hopefully a place, a property that will continue in our continue with our kids and their kids and their kids, and just something that we have generationally, that is in our family for generations. So I would love for that to be the case. So currently the house that's on there, I told you guys in my update that the house that we're moving into is quite a bit smaller than the house that we have now. It's a 1,700 square feet house. So it has absolutely everything that we need in it and no extras. So the first thing that we want to do is get the house painted and have the floors redone, and then just kind of make it our own. And kind of the same with the outside. We want to get into gardening. There's already going to be there's already two chicken coops out there, so we plan on adding chickens pretty quickly. Getting into gardening. My husband has been doing tons and tons of research, and he wants to get into beekeeping. And we have lots of plans for different animals that we want to have on the property. I have a friend who has a couple of alpacas, and she's going to start breeding them. So hopefully soon we'll be able to get an alpaca from her. Goats are an option, pigs are an option, cows are an option. So there's just lots of different options for what we can do out there and what we want to do. The house, we haven't quite decided if over time we want to do additions to the house, but we are both kind of thinking that we want to make the house, we want to do as much to it, make it as nice as possible, and keep up with it, and then eventually build out somewhere else on the property another house that we would live in forever, which would be our forever home, and then using the current house that's there as a guest house for whenever our family and friends come into town, or any of our local friends want to come out and go hunting, like they'll have a place to stay there. So there's lots and lots of visions that we have for this property. way too much to get into in this one video, but I am super, super excited to bring you guys along. Our goal is to be self-sustaining, so we do want to get into homesteading and things like that. So just lots more for us to learn and to journey through, and I am more than excited to bring you guys along that journey with us. And then the last one from YouTube is, what is one word to describe your kids individually? So I can describe my kids in lots and lots of different words, but to give you one word per kid, I'm going to try and pick a word that is best fitting for each of their personalities. So for my oldest, he's very logical. He thinks things through, he processes things, and he is just very mature for his age in his thinking and process. And it may take him longer to process through things, but he always does it with logic on his side, if that makes any sense at all. He's just a very mature for his age and very logical, which I absolutely love. Sometimes it can get him into trouble also, because there is a lot of that literal logic within him that's very rigid. But that is one word that I can describe him very quickly and easily in. And then my 9-year-old, the first word that I can think of to describe her is creative. She is my free-spirited, creative little girl. She absolutely loves all things art. She loves drawing, painting, dancing, singing. She is just such a creative girl, and it's like creation is just in her soul. Like, she is just meant to create. And so then for my 7-year-old, is such a little puzzle piece. So it's so hard to come up with one word for her, because she's just like this little humble, giving, loving, caring little person. So I guess the one word I could use to describe her is probably compassionate, just because she feels so deeply and she feels what other people feel. She could have no idea what is hurting someone, but she is hurting right along with them. If you need a hug, she's the first one to give you a hug. If you need words of encouragement, if you need prayer, she is the first one to offer up that encouragement or those prayers. And she loves to think of other people over herself. So she's just very, very compassionate, and I absolutely love that about her. And then for my youngest, he is a little fireball. I would say one word to describe him in his little 3-year-old package is determined. He is determined to do everything that the big kids are doing. He's determined to learn how to do everything, how to be able to do all the things independently. And he is a very quick learner because of that determination. So again, that's just something that I really love about him. But just like with my son and his logic skills, like, it can get him into trouble because there's just some things that he just can't do yet, and because he's so determined, he tries so hard, and that can sometimes bring on frustration. But I love the effort, and I love how determined he is, and I hope that that's something that sticks with him for forever. Okay, so I am all done with the YouTube questions. So let's go head over to Instagram and get a couple of those questions, and then I'm probably going to cut this video and then finish off in a part 2. Okay, let's scroll to the bottom. So yeah, I have quite a bit more on here. So I'll probably do 4 more questions, and then I'll do a part 2 video. So what's the best and worst part of homeschooling? And for me, I feel like the best and the worst part are both the same thing. Like, the best part of homeschooling is being home with my kids and being the one in control and of their education and being their teacher. I absolutely love it. But at the same time, it's also kind of the worst part, because not because I don't like being with my kids, but it can get overwhelming sometimes. Like, not if you don't take the time for yourself or for you and your spouse to get away. Just constantly being at home with just your kids can sometimes get a little overwhelming. And then also like being their teacher and being the one in control, that sometimes can feel like a lot of pressure. So while it's the best part about homeschooling, I think that it's kind of a double-edged sword with it as well. I absolutely love that about homeschooling, but the pressure and the overwhelm can sometimes get to me in that same regard. So I would say that. And then, which kind of goes, this is another great question. How do you keep calm during frustrating teaching moments? Honestly, when this happens, I just have to remember that my kids are still learning. I have to take a deep breath and I just have to walk away, because there's no point in me getting frustrated and my kiddo getting frustrated and them having any sort of drawback or hesitation towards whatever that skill is. I find myself with this, with different things for each one of my kids. At times it's writing with my son. At times it's math with my 9-year-old. And then with my 7-year-old, it can be reading. And I just have to remember, like, they're learning. They don't know. I mean, I don't know everything either, but you can't expect to, like, it's really easy to get frustrated when you're teaching concepts, especially new concepts, or you're teaching a kid how to read, or you're not understanding why your child can't just write. A lot of times things that come so easily for some people, other kiddos, other people, they just have to work really hard at it. And it doesn't do anyone any favor by getting frustrated. So honestly, a deep breath, taking a break, walking away from it, you and your kiddo, is how I stay calm in those moments. Otherwise, it's not any good for anybody. So the next question is, do you like your new method of homeschooling? So I think that this is probably maybe our new schedule. And yes, I absolutely love our new schedule. I love doing the loop schedule for our homeschool here. And because I believe we're still doing all the same methods of homeschooling other than our schedule. So yeah, I do love the new schedule. I love the curriculum that we're using this year. I absolutely love CC. I love our community, all those things. So I don't have any complaints about any part of our homeschooling this year so far. And then, what's your favorite subject to teach? History. As someone who absolutely despised history in school, and become one of my absolute favorites to teach and to learn alongside with my kids. I enjoy writing. I'm fairly good with math, and I know how to teach reading and phonics, but those things whenever a kiddo is struggling, again, it goes back to that frustration thing. It doesn't become my favorite, and especially like with writing, with it being one of my favorite things, it's just so hard for me sometimes to understand like why my kid isn't grasping it. Where I feel like with history, we're seriously all learning together. It opens up so many good questions and conversations between my kids and I. And like I said, I'm learning it right alongside with them. And I've just really, really been enjoying it. So I have favorite subjects that I love to do, like if I were to be in school. And those subjects are actually not my favorite subjects to teach. So I find that really interesting, but it's totally a thing. So I hope that you guys are enjoying this Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and end this part 1 of the Q&A here right now before the video gets too long. I'm going to finish filming the rest of the Q&A, and I will put up the part 2 for that later on. So if you guys are enjoying this video, please go ahead and hit the like. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit subscribe. Also, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the description or in the comment section, because the next time that I do a Q&A, I can come back to this video and grab questions from here, as well as, doing the same post and everything. So go ahead and put those questions in the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.